back to my channel. So today I am doing a video that you guys have requested and that I really can't believe I haven't done on my channel yet because it is one of my favorite categories of fragrance ever. So I decided to pick my top 6. It's actually a top 5, obviously, but you'll see why. There's actually 6 fragrances that are grapey, and I love a grapey fragrance. Like, I was about to say I love nothing more than a grapey fragrance, but that's not true because lipsticky fragrances are also my jam, bubblegum fragrances, and powdery, and violet. So it's hard to choose. Amber, whatever. We won't go down the list, but something I absolutely adore is a grapey scent. I love grape flavored candy. I love grape, like synthetic, artificial grape. Everything is my jam. And in fragrance, it's not the most popular thing that comes around, especially grape as a note in and of itself. And I don't think any of the fragrances I have actually have grape as a note. It's more often an orange blossom that has gone grapey, or a white floral of some kind, sometimes tuberose and jasmine. More likely than not, it's the orange blossom, but that's essentially what's doing it. A combination of white florals that, when either on their own or combined with other notes, can turn grapey to your nose and on your skin to varying degrees. And I will show you that in varying degrees as well. There are, however, some fragrances that have a grape note. They are few and far in between. I don't know if I even own any of them. So at the end of this video, once you've watched through, if I haven't mentioned the fragrance that you're thinking of, if you have any grape scented or grapey fragrances, definitely leave them in the comments below. I always want to try them out. I know there's a Maison de la Vanille one that is grapey, and I know that there's a House of Oud one that is grapey, but I haven't tried either. So always looking for recommendations. Without any further ado, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. I think we will go from least favorite to best out of my top 5. So keep in mind that obviously I love all of these, top 6 actually, but I'm gonna go from the least favorite and build its way up. So in 5th/6th place, I am putting Pink First. Yes, I Am Pink First by Cacharel. I have almost the full collection of the Yes, I Ams. I'm missing Glorious. So I will say I love all of them, and they do all have like a slightly different take or reason to why I think they're beautiful, whether they're a little more lactonic, a little more lipsticky, or what have you. But this one, the Pink First, which is actually the first one I picked up in the collection, actually has a and it's the least grapey out of all of them, but it has a slight grapiness. You smell it more when you're actually wearing it on your skin than if you're just spraying it on a scent strip or in the air. But I swear to you, even right now I'm smelling it. It is beautiful. It is ever so slight, but it's definitely there. And it's a lot juicier of a grapey scent. It's not so heavy or dense. So I actually do like it kind of year round, because I feel like I love a good grapey fragrance year round anyways, but this one I feel like it is nowhere going to really get suffocating during the warmer months, which one of them I will get to kind of has a little bit of that. I love this. I absolutely love this fragrance. I'm waiting to get Glorious so I can do a full collection review on these, because they really did change the mark for me for Cacharel fragrances in general, which I didn't have the best luck with prior, but I'm really, really into them. And this one is a good one. If you like a grapey scent, it has a very slight orange blossom grapiness in the heart, like I mentioned. So definitely recommend, but it is in 5th place because it is the lightest. If you're just dipping your toes into a grapey scent, or if you know you don't really like them that much, then I would recommend this in 1st place for you. But if you are a hardcore grape fragrance lover, then just keep watching. So in 4th/5th place, We have a fragrance favorite, or a designer favorite for a lot of you, that got a lot of hype when it came out, so I have to mention it, and that is My Way by Giorgio Armani. I love this bottle first and foremost, but the reason it's lower down the list is because this fragrance, while similar to some others, definitely has a grapey vibe to it with its white florals. It is stunning. It's got that orange blossom, tuberose, jasmine trifecta vibe to it, but it's also lower on the spectrum of grape flavor. You'll see, obviously I love grapiness, so the least grapey of my top favorites is going to be lower down the list for me personally. This one has a tendency to pull, and I say this with caution because it is not a green fragrance, but it pulls a little more green. It's almost as if it's more of a realistic scent than some of the others, and will tend to kind of pull slightly more green floral than sickly sweet grapey vibes. Now, I do want to preface that it's actually not a green scent at all. So this isn't like a green floral, but I'm saying out of the grapiness, it does pull a little bit more green and a little bit more floral in general as well. This isn't an authentic, very natural smelling floral the way Tea Rose, for example, that fragrance is so realistic of a tea rose scent that you could swear you're actually smelling the flower. This isn't that, but if you kind of want a middle of the road, prominent grapey scent, but also isn't going to smack you in the face with it, then this is a really good happy medium. It's accessible, it's in almost everywhere where they sell fragrances, and I really think it was like a good move for Armani to release a more accessible grapey fragrance on the mass market. So that is my fourth and fifth place. Okay, so now we get to third, fourth, and I'm gonna talk about these two fragrances together, and you will see why I've been slashing all the numbers and saying it's either 5 or 6, because in my third/fourth place, I have L'Interdit, and you might be wondering why this isn't in number 1, because this fragrance and this line in general has pretty much everything I could like in the world within it. It has the Audrey Hepburn connection. She's my favorite of all time. It's from Givenchy. They're my absolute favorite fragrance house that is a designer house. I love so many of their fragrances. I hesitate with saying favorite because I have so many, but I really, really like Givenchy. And it's a white floral that pulls bubblegummy and grapey all in one. If you guys are interested in a bubblegum fragrance video also, let me know in the comments below, because that's a whole other category. But this has the benefit of being kind of both. And this is the eau de toilette and this is the eau de parfum. I don't currently own the other flankers, but I really, really want to. But what I will say, and I have done a video on this comparison if you are interested, definitely check it out on my channel. I'll try to link it either above or below as well, but you can look it up as well. I go into the nitty gritty, but long story short, these are actually very, very similar. And so I really struggled with kind of making one in fourth place and one in third. If I absolutely had to choose between the two, personally, I would probably go with the eau de parfum, but they are very, very close. So the thing I will say, and I will spray the eau de parfum to talk about it, is these scents, like I was saying before, how you could kind of wear this year round and not feel choked out. There are definitely days when it is high humidity, high heat combinations where I am not drawn to wearing L'Interdit by Givenchy, because it really lasts a long time. It kind of engulfs you in the scent, and I don't think it does well when it's really, really kind of like extreme heat, high humidity. I think it fights with the fragrance rather than making it bloom, or even, I mean, it definitely doesn't complement the weather, but I think it just kind of goes against it. And so that is kind of a consideration to make depending on your climate, depending on your taste. And that doesn't come up that often for me based on, you know, I live in Canada, so it's not happening that often. And I adore this scent, so it wouldn't even be a consideration if it did. But I wanted to mention that to you. This one has that quality. You would think L'Interdit the Eau de Toilette is a better match, and in some ways it is, because there is a slight difference in its opening. It's a lot more, not a lot, honestly. It's a little bit more fresh in comparison to the Eau de Parfum, but yet it lasts longer on the skin. This is stronger, but this lasts a very small amount. And I went into really in-depth tests of this for that video, so check it out. But anyways, they're very, very similar. You probably don't need both, to be quite honest. I just got a little ahead of myself and was excited. And so now they're each 80 ml. So I have 160 ml of this scent, but I love it. It is a really beautiful grapey orange blossom in there. I did say it kind of mixes in a little bit bubblegummy as well. I would say less so than the grapiness, but the grapiness is so present. It is a stunning white floral that pulls super sweet and strong and grapey, and I love it. I would absolutely die to smell the original, to see, you know, the differences and how beautiful that must have been. But since I haven't, I can only speak about these reformulations and recreations. I think it is one of the best decisions Givenchy has made recently to bring these back, and I look forward to trying out all the others in the range and getting them eventually as well. But all that to say is, again, if you are on the market for your first grapey scent, and you're looking in kind of like the designer range of something that's super accessible, and you know that you like grapey scents in general, or if you're just looking for a newer grapey scent, I would recommend this over the Armani if you're sure that you love the depth of what grapiness can give you, because this is a lot stronger on its grapiness, and I think it's absolutely beautiful for that reason. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the top two, and the top two I kind of knew from the beginning that they would be in these exact spots. I did struggle a little bit with L'Interdit because it's so, I mean, it's so iconic to me personally, but it's also really, really well loved. But you will see why I had to push it down one peg to talk about these two. So in second place, this is a scent I truly cannot get enough of. I think this is very near to perfection for me, and that is actually a designer fragrance, and it's Truth or Dare's Truth or Dare Naked by Madonna. It's beautiful. It is a discontinued, absolute shame, beautiful fragrance, and I'm gonna actually wear this. I do have a backup of this because I cannot bear to think, and I've put in a good dent with this because I absolutely love it. I can't bear to think of the day, whoops, where I'm without this. I think it's stunning. This has a really, I think, unique take on its grapiness, because there is an ever so slight, like, soft cocoa powder vibe to this. I'm not even sure at this point whether it's an actual note, and I just always remembered it. I think it might be, or that I just get that scent. And I wouldn't have necessarily or naturally thought that that would have been like a good combination, or that would have been one of my favorite things. But I love it. I truly cannot get enough of it. The grapiness also in here is very present from the beginning and kind of follows on throughout as you wear it on your skin. Even in like the dry down, there's just something, there is like a warmth to this that doesn't really come through. I think that's what's most unique about this, is a grapey scent, by nature, I think is a little bit more cold. It's a little bit more crisp and not so much like a citrus crisp, but it's a cold note and it's a cold scent overall. It's not something that's super warm and cuddly. It can be dense and it can be strong the way it's in Interdit, or it can be green and even colder the way it is in my way. It can be light and fresher the way it is in Cacharel, but it's never warm the way like tobacco or amber or anything, even tonka, like it's never warm in that way. And this is, I think, probably, I mean, to my nose, it's the best way that a scent that is both grapey can have a touch of warmth to it. It's obviously not, you know, something that's like super fall winter vibes, but there is a cuddly nature to this. I think because of whatever that cocoa powder or just like slight powderiness. I love it. I think truly it is legendary status for me. And like I said, I cannot recommend it enough. So it had to be in second place. The only thing, once we get to first place, that it's missing is, you'll see kind of the differences, and it's more so up to taste. And also I had to just bring it down because of the accessibility factor. It is really hard to find this fragrance. It's been discontinued for ages, and when you do, you're obviously paying a little bit of an upmarket price. You might be finding it for a worse off deal. You might be finding partial bottles, and it's not likely, if ever, that she'll bring this kind of scent or this scent in general back. So I had to put it down just because the other ones are so much more easily available, but it is truly one of my favorite fragrances of all time. And then in first place, I put, you might have guessed, So Scandal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I was thinking what would be first when I was looking at my collection of a top 5, and there truly is nothing I have found that is as grapey as this. The reason this, oh my God, it's so stunning. The reason this overrides, not only just because of accessibility, all the others, is this is kind of a grapey white floral on steroids. This is not shying away from anything. And put it to Jean-Paul Gaultier, obviously, to have the bravery, I guess, to constantly create some of the sweetest fragrances ever without shying away from that. And this truly is sickeningly, but to my eyes, kind of like beautifully, sickeningly sweet. So do with that information what you will. If you don't like a sweet fragrance, you will not like this. I did a video recently on Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrances as a whole, all of them that I own. So you definitely can check out that video if you want more of an idea of the house and this within the fragrances that I own. But it's a stunning, stunning beauty. I ran through an entire decant before getting myself a bottle, and I will wear this all the time. Again, similar to L'Interdit by Givenchy, this is one where in very high heat, high humidity, I am not drawn to. It's not so much the sweetness as it is just how strong and intense this is. But if you are an ultimate grape fragrance lover, above everything else, you need this in your collection, because this is a grape fragrance lover's absolute dream. It is a sweet fragrance person's dream, and I will probably always have at least a little bottle or decant of this because I just think it's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so glad this sort of scent exists. So that is number 1. That is So Scandal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to leave me in the comments below specifically grapey fragrance grapey fragrance kind of advice and or recommendations. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if you're interested in other kind of note videos like this, like bubblegum or powdery rose or whatever really you guys are interested in, and maybe I could do another top 5 for you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys will subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.